A tactical reload is a change of magazines carried out before the bullets in the magazine are completely used up. It keeps you from running out of bullets near your enemies, so that you can keep up your level of firepower, and you will always have a bullet in your chamber. The trick is, don't lower your gun or your line of sight when reloading. Keep your line of sight up and concentrate on your surroundings while changing magazines. And don't forget to retrieve magazines that still have bullets remaining in them. The actual procedure involves unequipping your gun and then equipping it once again. That will load the gun with a new magazine. I recommend pressing the weapon window button quickly to carry out a quick reload. Even while hanging, you can fire your handgun with one arm. And if you're attacked during a hanging maneuver, don't panic and claim the advantage.
Snake, what do you do when you get a new weapon or item?
I put it in my backpack first.
But you know that you can't equip items that are still in your backpack, right?
Yeah, the only things that can be equipped with the weapon and item window buttons are items on my person.
Correct. If you want to equip an item, first you have to remove it from your backpack.
To place a weapon on your person, go to the Survival Viewer, then Backpack, then select Weapon. A list of weapons will be shown in a window in the upper left. Select the weapon you wish to put on your person with the left analog stick and press the Enter button to remove the weapon from your backpack and equip it to your person. However, you can only carry so many weapons at once on your person. Put unnecessary weapons back into your backpack. On the same screen, move the left analog stick while pressing the Weapon Window button to move the icon for weapons that are already on your person. Line up the weapon icon with the lower right and press the Enter button to put that weapon into your backpack. Select a weapon on your person from the weapon list and press the Enter button to put that weapon into your backpack. Your situation determines what weapons are most useful. Consider this when choosing which weapons to put on your person. Okay, Snake? When you aim your handgun in first-person view, align the front sight and the rear sight of the gun with the target, then fire.
No laser sight?
What?
A laser sight. I heard the military was developing them, but...
You want a laser sight?
Uh-huh.
A well-trained soldier has no use for a laser sight. No training wheels on this mission, Snake. For the assault rifle and certain other weapons, pressing the weapon button will first ready the gun for shooting from the hip. If you're in a close quarters fight or other situation that requires immediate action, fire from that position. Observe where your shots are hitting and correct your aim accordingly.
I understand, but that doesn't sound too accurate.
Of course not. So when you require pinpoint targeting, like when firing from afar or sniping, hold the aim button to aim. Carefully align your front and rear sights to concentrate fire and gain a sharper view on your target. If you rapid fire the assault rifle, the recoil of the gun will cause your shots to stray from their intended targets. Firing from a crouched position or while lying on your stomach will stabilize the recoil and keep your hits more consistent.
Snake, the Soviet troops are not your only enemies.
How do you mean?
Nature.
Boss?
Poisonous snakes, scorpions, crocodiles, hornets. There are dozens of dangerous life forms living in Selino-Yarsk. There are even poisonous mushrooms and frogs, and other plants and animals that you must not eat. In order to survive in nature, you have to know nature.
Paramedic has information on the flora and fauna in each area. Ask her for the details.
Stalking is a movement technique that eliminates even the sound of your footsteps. Stalking involves putting your weight on your rear foot, then stepping forward slowly with your front foot. Before putting down the front foot, use the tip of your foot to check for dangerous objects or branches that might create a noise when stepped upon. Once you've determined the spot is safe to step on, slowly lower your foot to the ground, placing it down from the outside edge first, and then slowly lowering your weight onto the foot. Throughout the entire process, you have to strain your calves to retain balance. But all you need to do is press the directional button in the direction you wish to move. When stalking, you can move without creating sound with your footsteps. And since your posture is low while stalking, you are that much less likely to be spotted by the enemy. Since you move cautiously while stalking, you will be able to detect a trap on the ground before it is set off. However, the slow, concentrated movement while stalking consumes high amounts of stamina. Switch between walking and running with the left analog stick, and stalking with the directional buttons depending on the situation.
You did an excellent halo jump.
Not really. I didn't land in the right spot. A jumper who lost his pack on the first real halo jump. That'll make a good story for you.
Who cares? There are no records of your operations.
I know, but
What, you're embarrassed?
no, I'm not embarrassed.
It's the boss, isn't it?
What about the boss?
Nothing, paramedic.
Doesn't sound like nothing.
Nothing to do with the boss, I mean.
It has something to do with the boss, but you don't want to say so.
Yeah, kinda.
I understand, Snake.
The boss has done a lot of work on the military study of halo jumps. And Snake here wanted to give a perfect performance on the first real jump, to show respect to the mother of the technique.
Major!
Snake, I thought you were over and out.
Wow, is that right?
You got something to say.
No,
I bet you do.
not really. I just think it's kind of sweet of you to think like that.
I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or an insult.
It's a compliment, Snake. So tell me, is it true?
What?
Not that. Is it true that the boss really worked on research for halo jumps?
Oh, that.
Yes, it's true. Halo stands for High Altitude Low Opening. It's a jump technique developed for covert insertions into enemy territory, just like the area you're in. A plane flies at 10,000 feet or above to avoid detection by ground forces, and the jumper free falls until he's within 1,000-foot altitude above the target area, when he finally opens his chute. By using this technique, the chances of revealing the parachute landing to the enemy are marginal. The halo technique was originally developed in France. This was partly due to popularity of parachuting as a sport since the end of World War II. And the boss was an instructor for the research that was carried out there. In 1957, at the JFK Special Operations Center at Fort Bragg, the boss was invited to instruct at the first ever US military halo school. Of course, none of this is on the record, but she's the mother of modern-day special forces.
Camouflage is an indispensable tool when you're sneaking through the jungle. Snake,
What's up, boss?
don't you what's up me.
Okay then, what is it?
I'm talking about your camouflage. Why aren't you using it?
Oh,
When you don't use any camouflage at all, you stick out like a sore thumb. Didn't you listen to a word I said?
well, I was listening, but...
Then start using your camouflage. Is that clear?
yeah.
It takes more than just clothes to make a good disguise. To camouflage yourself effectively, you'll need to wear face paint. Snake,
What's up, boss?
don't you what's up me. Just what do you think you're doing?
What do you mean?
What do I mean? What is that camouflage you're wearing?
Oh, this. What do you think?
Of all the...
Looks pretty good on me, doesn't it?
Are you out of your mind? You can't wear that in battle. It's like saying to the enemy, "Hey, here I am, shoot me."
Well, I'll admit it is a little on the flashy side,
Then why don't you...
but it does look good on me, doesn't it? You don't think so?
Listen, wise ass, camouflage isn't gonna do jack if it doesn't help you blend in with your surroundings.
Well, I think it looks good on me.
Fine, wear whatever you want.
Thought you'd like it.
Hunters have known about camouflage since ancient times. But it's only quite recently, since the 18th century, that it's been applied to military operations. The first camouflage introduced to the military was a solid-colored uniform designed to blend in with the battlefield. It was really more of a protective coloring than true camouflage. Camouflage in the modern sense of the word wasn't introduced until the First World War. During that war, weapons such as aircraft, cannon, and warships were painted in camouflage colors. But it was almost never used to disguise individual soldiers. The widespread use of camouflage began in World War II. The Germans and the Russians in particular made active use of it in battle. Nowadays, with the Cold War raging, the Eastern Bloc has been hard at work developing all sorts of camouflage patterns. In the West, the French implemented it in their paratrooper corps and SAS during the Wars of Independence in Indochina.
I never saw it used in Korea, though.
America has lagged behind other countries in incorporating camouflage. They're only just beginning to consider introducing it into certain units.
Why is that?
Apparently, there are those in the U.S. military who consider camouflage too passive a technique.
Morons.
You're telling me. But now more and more people are beginning to appreciate how useful and important camouflage can be. I'm sure the brass will see the light soon enough. Generally speaking, there are two methods of using camouflage.
Concealing and disruptive, right?
Right. Concealing involves disguising yourself with colors that match your surroundings, allowing you to melt into the background and avoid detection. Leaf patterns are one example of this type of camouflage. Disruptive, on the other hand, involves painting the target so that it no longer stands out in 3 dimensions, thus making it more difficult to perceive its contours.
Like a tiger stripe pattern.
Exactly. Which type of camouflage is most effective depends on the mission environment. It's essential to choose the right type of camouflage for each situation.
Got it.
I see you're wearing the olive drab uniform. Olive drab, or OD for short, is what you might call the pre-camouflage uniform. Plain-colored OD fatigues are still worn by infantry today, but they'll be replaced sooner or later by patterned camouflage. As you can see, it's got no colors or markings on it, so of course it won't make a very effective disguise. You should change into some other type of camouflage as soon as you can. I see you're wearing the tiger stripe camouflage. The tiger stripe pattern has been in use since 1959 among the South Vietnamese Marine Corps. But the pattern originated with the French. It's said that it developed out of the brushstroke pattern, also known as lizard camouflage. It provides some cover in trees and grass, but it's especially effective in earth and mud environments. You should find it useful when you're concealing yourself by crawling on the ground. I see you're wearing the leaf pattern camouflage. The leaf pattern was developed to provide cover in forest environments. The U.S. military isn't the only one using it. Countries that anticipate operating in forest environments are developing various types of patterns, each suited to the vegetation of the particular region. The Soviets and the Eastern European countries all use their own unique patterns. Leaf pattern camo will give you an especially low profile in areas of thick vegetation. I see you're wearing the tree bark camouflage. The tree bark pattern was originally created for use by hunters. Unlike the somewhat abstract design seen in other patterns, tree bark is characterized by a design that resembles photographs of stumps and branches pasted together. It's especially good when you're pressed up against a tree. I see you're wearing the squares pattern camouflage. The squares camouflage consists of a series of squares, each varying slightly in color and shape from the next. It has the effect of making the contours of the person wearing it more difficult to distinguish. You'll find it especially useful against brick and rusted metal backgrounds. I see you're wearing the black camouflage. People tend to associate black camo with night operations, but that's not always the case. Wearing all black when you're out in the forest at night makes your silhouette darker and more prominent, and you end up standing out instead. To get the most out of your camouflage, it's essential to choose a pattern that matches your surroundings, even at night. Don't forget that.
Not a problem. I'll be out of here by nightfall.
I certainly hope so, for your sake. That being said, black camo can be quite effective in dark environments. It also blends in well with the black soil of humid areas. Make sure it matches your surroundings before you put it on. Visibility is poor in the jungle, so you'll be finding yourself in a lot of unexpected encounters. Naturally, this means that close quarters combat will be more important than ever.
So I'll have plenty of chances to use CQC then.
That's right. In proximity encounters, firing a gun isn't necessarily the best response to every situation. It's only one option among many. Rather than taking the time to draw, aim, and fire a gun, engaging your opponent in hand-to-hand combat can sometimes be a faster and more reliable way of subduing him. Besides, in a sneaking mission like this one, it's too dangerous to go around firing your gun. You'll end up revealing yourself to the enemy.
Yeah, I know. You created CQC to deal with exactly this type of situation.
With your help, of course. In a battle situation, you'll only have a split second to decide how to attack. Use the Weapon button to attack using a weapon, and the CQC button to attack using CQC. Press the CQC button once to throw a punch. Pressing it multiple times in succession will allow you to deliver a combo attack. But striking your opponent is just one aspect of CQC. It doesn't really start to shine until you've got your enemy in a hold. Press and hold down the CQC button to grab your opponent with your right hand. From there, you can use the left analog stick to knock your opponent off balance and throw him to the ground. This can be used to knock an opponent out in a single blow. If you don't press the left analog stick, grapple with your enemy until you're behind them and can get your knife to their throat. Grabbing an enemy from behind and holding your knife against his throat will render him virtually powerless. From this point, there are several things you can do. Press the CQC button hard to slit the enemy's throat with your knife. Move the left analog stick and press the CQC button to throw the enemy to the ground. Lightly tap the CQC button rapidly to choke the enemy. You can use this to knock him out or even kill him if you do it long enough. By continuing to hold down the CQC button, you can move around while keeping your grip on the enemy. By pressing the Weapon button, you can aim your currently equipped weapon at another enemy. With their comrade acting as a human shield, the enemy will be reluctant to attack you. Move the left analog stick around to press your knife against the enemy and demand information. You'll be surprised at how much you can learn this way. But don't get too complacent. While your enemy may be powerless in your grip, he'll use any opportunity he can to counterattack. You can only use CQC to grab enemies when your right hand is free to grab and pull them toward you. In other words, when you're bare-handed or equipped with a one-handed weapon like a survival knife or a handgun. You won't be able to grab hold of enemies when equipped with two-handed weapons, such as the assault rifle or weapons such as hand grenades that don't leave your right hand free to control the enemy.
So in other words, I can't throw enemies with CQC when I'm holding an assault rifle or a hand grenade.
Exactly. Don't forget it. In my day, I did my share of sneaking into enemy territory.
You mean since World War II?
Yeah, mostly snatch missions.
Snatch mission. That's where you abduct an enemy officer without killing him, right?
Right. That's where I got the original idea for CQC. In a snatch mission, taking out the target's escorts by shooting them is not an option. If the enemy hears the gunshot, they'll know there's an intruder and tighten security, and the target will sense danger and try to get away.
You needed a way to take out the guards and secure the target without making a sound.
That was the idea. The CQC style that you and I developed is based on the techniques I cultivated during those missions. So...
First time I've heard this.
Huh?
You've never told me any of this before.
I didn't?
No. Why? Why didn't you tell me this before? Why now?
I have my reasons. The techniques themselves, the strikes and the throws, are only one aspect of CQC. In order to make those techniques work, it's essential to have a strong body as well. But the most important tools in CQC are your wits, the ability to instantly comprehend and analyze the enemy's behavior and psychological condition to determine your actions. In short,
Mind, body, and technique.
that's right. CQC can only be used effectively when all three of those elements are combined.
Sounds like some sort of Oriental martial art.
It does, doesn't it? Anyway, it's not something that's easily taught or easily mastered. It takes rigorous training and years of experience to learn it. You helped create it, and you're the only one who can use it.
Except you, right?
Yeah. The gun you're using is a test model of a suppressor-equipped pistol currently in development by the Navy that's been modified by the CIA into a tranquilizer gun. The suppressor-equipped pistol it's derived from is itself being developed for use by special forces based on the M39.
The Mark 22.
That's what they're going to call it if they decide to adopt it for official use. It uses a slide lock mechanism that will keep the firing sound down to a minimum.
But I'll have to reload it by hand every time I fire, right?
Right. You won't be able to fire multiple shots at once, so make every shot count. Aim for the enemy's vital spots. There's talk of designing the Mark 22 to accommodate special subsonic rounds, but for this mission, you'll be using specifically designed tranquilizer rounds. In a way, these tranquilizer rounds are like miniature syringes. When one of them strikes a target, the impact causes a needle contained within to shoot out. At the same time, chemicals inside the round are mixed to create a gas, which pushes the plunger and injects the tranquilizer into the target. You can knock out an enemy immediately by shooting them in the head, but if you shoot them in the arm or leg, the tranquilizing agent will take some time to set in. Aim carefully. I see you're using the 45.
Yeah, it's an M19 11A1.
The stopping power of those 45 ACP rounds ought to come in handy.
And it uses a simple single-action system, so it won't jam up on me so much. Even if I get caught in mud or sand, it'll keep on shooting.
The perfect handgun for this mission.
Yeah, we'll make a good team.
The 45 can also be equipped with a suppressor. The suppressor will reduce the noise of the gunshot. If you find a suppressor, open the weapon window and press the Enter button to attach or detach it. But remember, the suppressor will deteriorate little by little each time you fire. I see you've got yourself an M37.
Yeah, a 12-gauge shotgun.
It holds up to 4 shells, but because it uses pump action, you can only fire 1 shot at a time.
I know that much.
It's not exactly the best long-range sniping tool, but it's got a wide distribution pattern, and a direct hit is enough to blow an enemy to bits. It's about 2 pounds lighter than an ordinary shotgun. That should make it a bit easier to handle in the jungle.
Right. They don't call it the Featherlight for nothing. Not only that, but the barrel and the stock on this one's been sawn off too.
Making it easier to carry around with you.
Yeah. But why did those guys have an American-made shotgun?
Good question. It might have something to do with studying Western weapons, but tell me, have you ever heard about the SAS using shotguns in the jungles of Malaya?
Just stories.
In the jungle, enemy encounters can happen when you least expect it. They found the shotgun to be extremely effective in these situations because of its ability to deliver massive firepower in a short period of time. Since then, the shotgun has become the weapon of choice for a lot of pointmen.
And now the Soviets have adopted the technique?
Could be. I see you found yourself an RGD-5. RGD stands for Rochnaya Granata Degtyaryeva in Russian. It basically means hand grenade of the Degtyarev design. It's the standard issue blast fragmentation grenade of the Soviet Army.
It's lighter than the M26.
And it carries fewer explosives as well. But I'd say it's more or less equal to an M26 in terms of performance. Be careful though, the safety pin ring is on the opposite side. You'll be fine as long as you keep the safety lever pressed down with your finger.
I'll keep that in mind.
Blast fragmentation grenades use a combination of blast and shrapnel to kill their targets. This makes them effective against standing targets, but significantly less effective against targets lying on the ground. Remember that. You got a magazine, huh? That's an empty magazine for your guns. It can be an effective weapon itself, if you know how to use it.
You mean throwing them at people?
No. You can't take out an enemy just by throwing a magazine at him. But if you use the sound it makes when it lands to attract the enemy's attention.
I get it. It creates a diversion.
Weapons will be in short supply during this mission. If you want to succeed, you'll need to use your head. I see you're using binoculars. The ones you've got are a high-performance military model equipped with a zoom function.
Yeah, they give me a flat image across the entire viewing range.
They're completely waterproof and highly shock and flame resistant. You won't need to worry about them breaking. Scouting is key during a sneaking mission. If you can determine enemy positions and the lay of the land from a distance, it'll make your job that much easier. Use them wisely. Those things you're wearing, those are...
Thermal goggles. Some kind of electronic gadget that shows the distribution of heat sources in image form.
I know they're based on the same principle behind the FLIR system on gunships, but to think they actually made it small enough to carry with you.
They're not just making good rockets, huh? Never underestimate the power of Soviet science.
Tell me about it. In any case, those thermal goggles should allow you to easily see through enemy camouflage and spot traps. Just don't leave them on for too long, or you'll drain the batteries. The sooner you find the enemy, the better you'll be able to deal with the situation. So be sure to make use of sensors like the motion detector and active sonar. It's going to be tough to cross over that suspension bridge without being seen by the enemy. You'll have to figure out some way to get rid of the sentries first. Treetops, bushes, hollow logs. There are plenty of places in nature you can use to hide yourself. Search each area carefully in first-person view. Use nature to its fullest extent. You'll thank me later. Equipment captured in the field often needs to be fixed or have its parts replaced before it can be used. But you won't need to worry about that in this mission.
Why's that?
Because your adversaries are highly trained professionals. They'll no doubt have made sure their reserve gear is in working condition.
So in other words, I can use the stuff I pick up right away?
Right. One more thing. When you pick up a new item, don't forget to read its description in the window. In the jungle, it's absolutely crucial to keep your position secret from the enemy. Sometimes even the smallest sound can be enough to give your position away and get you killed. You'll have to make sure your weapons and equipment don't make noise bumping around. Use tape to secure metal objects and other items that seem likely to produce noise. After you've secured your gear, jump up and down to see whether it makes a sound.
Don't worry. I remember the drill.
There is one weapon greater than any other in battle. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
What?
Do we have to go through this again?
Yes.
Will. An unflinching will to survive no matter what.
Exactly. The will to carry out your mission and return home alive will see you through even the most desperate of situations. It's the most potent weapon in your arsenal. Don't forget that, no matter what. This is a solo sneaking mission. There's no one out there to support you. You'll need to be more than just a soldier. You'll have to be a medic, a pilot, and even a cook.
You don't need to remind me.
I'm glad to hear that.
Glad to hear what?
That you haven't changed a bit.
Hmm?
The truth is, you're nervous, aren't you?
I'm not nervous.
There's no need to be embarrassed. No one's ever attempted a mission like this before. In fact, you might say that getting nervous is the natural way to react. Relax. That's why you have the survival viewer. The survival viewer contains everything you'll need to stay alive in the field. Use camouflage to change your camouflage, backpack to select a weapon, food to eat, and cure to heal yourself. The map option lets you view the map, and the options function lets you change the settings to suit your individual style. The survival viewer is going to be your best friend in this mission, so learn to make the most of it. Paramedics' frequency is 145.73. If you want to survive in the jungle, you're going to need to hone all of your senses. An unnatural movement in the undergrowth, a tiny shadow peeking out through the trees in the distance. Always keep an eye out for any signs of the enemy's presence. Your sense of hearing is equally important. Visibility is poor in the jungle, so you've got to learn to pick up the enemy's presence from the sounds you hear around you. Always be listening for that one snap of a twig among the chirping of the birds and the babbling of the brooks. Your sense of smell is also important. Body odor, sweat, gunpowder, food. These faint smells wafting in the wind will tell you where the enemy...
No.
No?
I can't smell.
You? What now?
I can't smell.
Not at all.
Nope.
Not even a little bit.
Not a thing.
Oh. Well then, you'll just have to trust in your instincts as a gamer. Tell me, what's the advantage of a solo sneaking mission?
It's easier to go in undetected than with a group.
Exactly. And therein lies the entire reasoning behind this virtuous mission. This mission into Soviet territory is a violation of international law. If this gets out to the public, we'll be faced with an international crisis even greater than the one 4 years ago.
4 years ago, the U-2 crash.
Failure is not an option.
Not a problem. I'll get Sokolov out without them ever knowing I was here.
When you see an enemy, the first thing to do is conceal yourself and watch what he's doing. If you make any sudden moves, your camo index will decrease, and there's a good chance the enemy will catch sight of you. And don't start to panic just because an enemy is acting like he knows you're there. It doesn't necessarily mean he's figured out exactly where you are. As long as you hide someplace like the bushes and stay perfectly still, you'll usually come out all right. Stay calm, keep a grip on the situation, and use clear judgment. Got it? Your ultimate objective in this mission is to find Sokolov and get him to safety, not to slaughter the enemy.
So basically, I should avoid getting into battles, right? You don't have to tell me.
To avoid battles, it will be essential to scout out the enemy's numbers and positions. That's what your binoculars are for. If confronted with multiple enemies during a standard operating procedure, you'd retreat and call for backup, but that's not an option in this mission. If you encounter multiple enemies, either find a way to go around them, or if it looks like you'll have to eliminate them, lure them over one at a time and take them out that way. Your objective in this mission isn't to get into fights, but if you're faced with a situation where you have no choice but to get rid of an enemy, attack him from behind. If you use stalking to sneak up behind an enemy and take him out in one strike, the other enemies probably won't even notice. If it doesn't look like you'll be able to sneak up from behind, wait for him to come toward you. Either figure out the enemy's patrol route and get there before he does, or make a sound or throw something to get his attention. And if he does spot you, don't hesitate. Take him out before he has a chance to alert his comrades to your presence. Got it? Enemies pose a greater threat when they patrol in squads. The members of a squad are constantly watching out for each other, making it difficult to take them out without being noticed. If you absolutely have to attack a squad, use CQC or a gun equipped with a suppressor and start with the last one in line, then work your way up. You said the enemy is equipped with AK-47s, didn't you? The AK-47 is the official assault rifle of the Soviet Army. It's employed not only by the Soviets, but throughout the entire Eastern Bloc. It uses 7.62 millimeter by 39 ammunitions, with a magazine capacity of 30 rounds. The AK is reliable, precise, powerful, and easy to handle. In short, one of the best assault rifles there is. Don't even think about getting into a one-man firefight against an enemy unit equipped with AKs. Avoid battle as much as possible. Are we clear? You mentioned the enemy was also carrying grenades, correct? Those grenades are RGD-5s, the standard blast fragmentation grenade of the Soviet Army. You can protect yourself from a large part of the blast and shrapnel from a grenade by lying flat on the ground. If someone throws a grenade at you and you sense that you can't get away in time, get into a crawl position. It should reduce the damage to a minimum. What the hell have you been doing these past 5 years anyway?
What's with you all of a sudden?
It's like you've forgotten everything I taught you.
That's not true.
Then why do you keep getting spotted? You keep getting spotted because your camouflage isn't effective enough and because you're not being careful enough. Pay attention to your camouflage index. Watch how the enemy moves and proceed one step at a time. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Okay.
Are you smoking a cigar?
Uh-huh.
I don't approve of you smoking during a mission.
Hey, you used to smoke them.
Never mind what I did.
Ugh.
But that being said, cigars can be useful in a number of different ways, like getting rid of leeches.
Did you say leeches?
Yes. If a leech clamps onto you, try pressing the lit end of a cigar into it. The leech should cringe and detach itself from you. If you try to yank it off by yourself, you run the risk of it leaving its teeth inside you. With the cigar method, you won't have that problem.
Fascinating.
And unlike a cigarette, a cigar burns slowly, so you can use it in place of a torch in dark places.
I never knew a cigar had so many different uses.
Now you know, but quit smoking them during the mission. Hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Keep in mind that your weapons and equipment each have their own weight. Storing a heavy item on your person will cause your stamina to drain more quickly. If you're getting tired or want to conserve your stamina, it's a good idea to put any items you're not going to use back into your backpack.
Boss?
Ugh, too bright. My eyes. I can't see. Where are you? Where did you go? He's gone. Where are you hiding? Come out and fight. There you are. There he is. Found you. I found you. That's a dirty trick. A smokescreen. You're better than I remember. Your skills have improved. You've gotten stronger. Excellent, Jack. What's that? What is this? What's this for? Are you out of your mind? 5 more minutes. 3 more minutes. 1 more minute. Only 30 seconds left. Time's up. Our time is up, Jack. What the? Jack! No. Jack! He's dead. I can't believe it. You were faking it? Did you really think I would fall for that? Stop playing dead. That won't work on me. Get up and fight. Shoot me. Come on. Shoot me. What are you waiting for? Just do it. Shoot me. What are you aiming at? I'm here. No. Shoot me. Do it right. What are you doing? Get it right this time. There. There you are. Over there. Found you. Footsteps. What was that noise? I heard that. I can hear you. How long are you going to hide like that? Come out and fight me, you coward. Show yourself. Are you just going to hide? Nice try. Is that all you've got? I'm disappointed. Pathetic. It's no use. I told you that wouldn't work. You're wasting time. You can't hit me. Time to play rough. Dodge this. It's over. Grenade! A grenade? An RPG. An RPG? 4 minutes, 30 seconds. 4 minutes left. 3 minutes, 30 seconds. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. 2 minutes left. 1 minute, 30 seconds. Damn. Where is he? He was right here. Think you can win with that? You're not the man I thought. All these years and still nothing to show for it. You're disappointing me. Are we fighting or what? Fight me. What's the matter? Come on, shoot me. Is that all? Are you trying to miss? Pathetic. Here I come. Get ready. Brace yourself. Let's see what you're made of. Keep running. How long can you keep running? Don't stop or you're dead. You'd better run. Run quick. Move or you're dead. Heads up, Snake.
You could be a little bit nicer about it.